Yeah.
But even when you're running something like Sortex, which is, the entire pack is in 64, and and so all the textures fit together. It's like you said, there's something you can't really put your finger on. It's just everything looks a little too smooth, a little too regular. It's not really a conscious thing so much as it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's because of the size of the blocks. The size of the blocks just don't really lend themselves, in my mind, to a texture a texture pack that size, unless it's a special case, like for instance Sphax. Sphax, the textures may be 64 by 64, but the actual drawings and all that the textures are made out of are large and cartoony.
Yeah.
So the ultra smooth looks really good. It looks appropriate and everything.
I have to go back again and pull again.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm just about there myself. Get me another pick here. Alright.
Iron block, iron block, iron
Iron block,
block.
iron block.
But yeah, that's why I got into texture packs in the first place, because I thought, well, I like that texture. I'd like to have that texture, and play with that. I don't care that it doesn't really, it's not a complete pack or anything like that.
Sure.
Although I do wish there was a good steampunk one. I don't know. I just Glimmers just doesn't do it for me. It's not quite right in certain things.
Well, mine's going to be heavily steampunk influenced.
Well, I wouldn't mind testing yours out for you.
You know. Um,
Send me a link and I'll
yeah.
try it. You can actually test. Can you is it in this now where you can change them in game? Can't remember now.
You can change. Yeah, you can change texture packs in game. I said the only one that I've actually gotten inserted in right now is the stone, because I want to start with the basics first. I want to get the stone, the dirt, the grass, the gravel,
Yeah.
the sand. I want to get those four things the way I want it, because that's the stuff you see the most. Then I'll get cobblestone the way that I want it. Then I'll start working on some of the more specialty stuff.
I'll get you an iron block while I'm doing it.
Iron block, iron block. Glad you remembered, because I'd already forgotten.
Yeah. Well, you see, those Sortex ores, that sort of like roundish splodge pattern, I love those. I love them. Well, they're so difficult to take off and put onto something else. I'm quite happy to have those textures put onto the vanilla stone in this, which I like. I'm interested to see what your stone's going to be like, though, because I've got a feeling you'll have a really nice, grungy, grimy stuff that fits really well with it all.
Yeah, like I said, I've got that picture. I've got a nice picture of a big slate panel that I'm basing it off of,
Yeah.
with the various cracks and different layers in the slate and all. It's just, the biggest thing for me is not getting the drawing, it's getting the color. If it was painting, I can get that down fine. I can mix paints like crazy and get exactly the color I want. When it comes to an RGB slider, it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult for me. It's because I've never thought electronically. I've always thought when it comes to color, it's like, okay, let's put in a little bit more crimson. Let's add in a little ochre here. Let's mix it up with a little cerulean blue, that kind of thing, and I'll know what color I'll get. When it's like, well, what do you want your red value to be? What?
Well, I think you just have to try and ignore that, don't you? Just think, well, I want it a little bit more reddish than that, or I want it a little bit more blue than that.
I think it may be a little bit of the future shock, though. The fact
Did
that
you spawn in there? You little thing.
it's like we've discussed with the future shock, and there's a big one.
And my pants unzipped. Oh! One shot him.
Only if the word big and slimy applies. I'll leave that up to you, man.
You don't get anything if it takes you that long to think of it. Can you see the hearts? Oh, let's see, it dropped ahead then.
The hearts?
The hearts of damage when I'm damaging them. Can you see the life bar above their head?
I wasn't seeing any then, no.
So it's just player specific.
Yeah, I think it may be. Because yeah, I've seen it on ones that I've fought.
Your anvil's next to your workbench.
Alrighty.
It's a bit daunting though. I keep thinking, oh, I should do my texture pack now because that'll be it then. But every time I start, I think, well, what do I start with? I suppose the thing, I don't know whether not to start with Faithful because is that 32 texture pack.
I think Faithful is.
Basically, start with that and then just delete out anything or whatever.
And I think what finally got me back to working on it, I've been puttering around with it and doing little things and that kind of stuff. I think what finally got me back to working with it was when we had the Feed the Beast stuff going. And I was looking for a texture pack. And I came across the John Smith pack that they had worked on for Feed the Beast. And added in, all the different machines and stuff like that people have got. And that's when I found out, because I've been running the same John Smith pack for a long time now. Before, long before all the individual textures, like what they have now.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, cool. Okay, we've got this. Excellent. They've got the John Smith, and I loaded it in, and it's kind of like the John Smith pack that I'm running now that's been updated to 151. It's annoying as hell in that it's not the John Smith pack that I know. It's Dwindon and I were actually talking about it last night when he was over here. Well, I was talking about it. He was patiently listening to me rant while sighing. Because it was another one of those go off on a rant kind of things about why is it that, Misa doesn't have that problem. Misa built her texture pack and has occasionally worked on it, adding in the new blocks and that kind of stuff. And she's done some work on the mods, the mobs she'll add in because she uses the randomized mobs. She'll add in new mob textures and that sort of thing. But the basic blocks have stayed the same. Once she got the ones that she wanted, they've stayed the same in every single update. And then you got folks, and then the other thing that I brought up was Doku. Doku was the original texture pack that I used whenever I first discovered you could use texture packs. And, heck, I think Doku made it back when texture packs weren't really even supported. You made a texture ping and you took and you dropped it into the jar file. I don't even know if I don't even think the game itself had a texture option in it then.
Yeah, I think
like
you're right.
It does now.
Yeah, I think he was really at the early stages.
Yeah. But that's the way Doku is. I mean, Doku has changed his pack. He's got 3 different versions of it, but that's it. It's 3 different versions. The original Doku, I think Doku High Fantasy, is the original one, and then he's got a Doku Light and a Doku Dark. So when he changed it, he changed various textures and the colors and all that, but he left the other pack as an original form, But you got stuff like John Smith, and you got stuff like some of the others, like Obo's has had a few things like that where every time a new version comes out, the pack has totally changed.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. It's like, why do you change 80% of the textures in the pack every single time you put out a new version of it? Are you just getting that bored with the textures? Are you, is it this is just what you do in Minecraft, is just constantly fiddle and play with textures? I mean, what, if I can sit here and quit making picks, which would require me to shut up for a few minutes and concentrate on what I'm doing.
Oh, is it?
There we go. Twice
Don't
now.
tell me you're standing next to the anvil making picks.
Twice now, yes. I have walked over here to make torches, is what I've come over here to make. And each time I've made a pick.
How do you go to a crafting table to make torches when you can fit them in your inventory one?
Don't question the ways of the Gnarlo, for they are strange and mysterious, and will only give you a headache.
Well, I think
All
you're
right,
though.
you see, first of all, I was thinking of Captain Stubing, and then...
Yeah. Well, I think you're right with the texture packs. I mean, I think that's what their enjoyment in Minecraft is, because I don't see I can't imagine me playing survival and everything and enjoying the game that way. It just doesn't seem what you can imagine them doing. I mean, I watch like Dial's multiplayer thing on ForgeCraft, which is basically where all the mod makers play on. And even there, it's a bit strange to see them all playing with them, because they don't tend to spend a lot of time playing with them. They'll sort of like play with them until they've tested them, and then that's it. Which is why I like watching Covert Jaguar, because he's playing with his Railcraft mod. So you're actually seeing the mod maker use his mod, which is nice.
Right. It's what I really enjoyed watching the... it wasn't Spumwhack. I can't remember the other guy. Was it Is it Spumwhack, the one that's got the server that the Terra Firma guys play on? I thought it was a different guy.
Yeah, I think it's Spumwhack. Okay.
But yeah, it's fun to see that. To see the one, you got Dunk and the ones who are actually creating it and working on it, who are actually playing and going, okay, I don't like the way this works, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, that's it, you see, because I mean, you think to yourself, well, they get into mod making because they're playing the game and they suddenly think, well, I could do this or something that would do that. And then they think, well, I could make that. And then they start to make it. But somewhere along the line, it's like the making of the mod becomes more than the playing of the game or something. I don't know. Whether it's a popularity thing or not, I know, all these people want to play with my mod, so I better work on the mod rather than play the game. I think texture pack makers may be like that as well. I don't know.
Maybe.
Too busy making the texture pack to bother playing. But that's a good thing about the way the texture pack has suddenly changed, because, as you say, now every time they come, it will be the people will make different texture packs. But that shouldn't affect you the same way as it used to. Because you can just swap that one texture, can't you?
It will be so easy to make your textures and leave them, because every time a new texture packet come out, you have to pull it up in GIMP. Every time there was new blocks or whatever, you had to pull it up in GIMP. You had to, cut and paste and all that kind of crap. You had to make sure you had your alpha channel set and that you weren't getting rid of the transparency. And it was such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing like back whenever, Dwayne and I've talked before. He and I have discussed the fact that, back whenever, for instance, when I was running, long before anybody had all these these mod packs like Feed the Beast and Tech It and the launchers and all that. I mean, my first year I played with all that County Gnarlo stuff, I was running 30 or 40 mods that I would go in, and every time there was an update, I'd have to go in and manually rearrange them and reinstall them and see what was working with what and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And, looking back on it going, what a pain in the butt that was. I mean, I enjoyed it, so I didn't think of it as a pain in the butt, but once you get a better method of doing it, it's like, what a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Oh, mining skill increased to 960.
Awesome.
My main issue with texture packs, to be honest, is I tend to be a bit of a magpie, and I think, oh, I like this texture from that texture pack, and I like this texture from that one. So I've always just used Photoshop to pull out the square that I wanted, like you say, using GIMP, etc.
Right.
Just use that one, and then they just don't quite fit with each other. When you put them all together, it's not quite right. I mean, I love the Soartex doors. I also love the old creaky ones as well, but I like the brand spanking clean new ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't fit with any sort of pack together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the skill, to be honest, is making a pack that does look as though everything belongs.
Right. Very much. And that's something that I've been really, I said, with stuff like Sphax. Sphax is one of it's not the texture pack for me, because I don't really want the cartoony, as I call them, wow type of graphics.
Yeah.
But it's an incredibly well put together pack. I mean, everything in that pack is made and fits wonderfully with each other. Have it.
Okay, I'm back up to the hive again.
I'll head up back up that way in just a second. I just realized you were talking about the Little Bros series. I realized I had not sent a message to the Little Bros to let them know they had a new posting up.
Look at all them slime down there, Betty Pros. What have they been watching them and enjoying them?
Oh yeah.
How did he get the name Global Warming? I mean, every time I watch it, I keep thinking, is it that a deliberate misspelling, or maybe does he speak a different language other than English, or how Global Warming?
Yes. I would imagine it's intentional. It's one thing. Yeah. Okay, I'm back and can concentrate. I would imagine it's intentionally that way. Probably a play off of the term, global, and the name Goebel, the mathematician.
No, I didn't know there was a mathematician called Goebel.
Yeah, there's a mathematician named Goebel. So it's probably a play off of those words. Plus, he is also a right-wing conservative. So it's probably also a play off of the whole global warming thing. Which most of the right-wing conservatives in this country believe is a liberal plot to cost jobs and rein in businesses.